Welcome, welcome, friends of the toast. And we are going to have a little talk about instrument repair. We like to repair things. It's what we do. It's what we do. So, we have an interesting one in the shop today. This looks to the untrained eye to perhaps be an old Dobson banjo. It is not a Dobson. Headstock a little different, but it does have that Dobson shape there. Now, as you see, no bridge. It's got an aftermarket tailpiece, and here's where it gets weird. Oftentimes on this channel, not out of arrogance do we say this, do we say the guy who thinks he knows can really mess things up. And so the guy who thinks he knows can mess things up. And let's look at the back of this headstock, because anybody that sees this would know this would be a friction peg thing here. So just to get in there, looking here, they took one of these, I'd say like 19 teens era mandolin, like maybe it's a little guitar, I don't know. I think mandolin by its spacing. So those 8 on a plate mandolin tuners you see from like 1913 to like 1926, they put those on here. And I'm going to say this isn't the guy who thinks he knows that did this. I think the original owner of this instrument, when their bone pegs wore the wood smooth inside of here, I think they couldn't find a violin peg to fit it. Maybe the violin pegs were too big, and they thought, oh, these machine tuners we're seeing, maybe they had a pair. But what they went ahead and did here is they filed this headstock. You see that? And let's get this up here. We'll get this flipped around. And if you look closely, you can see where they filed that down. Look how much meat has been taken off of that headstock there. So see there? So they filed it to accommodate these tuners, which if they would have used like a classical square peg head guitar tuner, they would have got that extra height they needed without having to do that. So that was not a good move. But at the time, let's think about it. Probably like a very working class person like myself, these tuners are better. It seems like at that time, those violin pegs are on the way out big time. So maybe this guy had these and he went to work with a file, and he did not do the best job, as you can see right here. Look at that. But for an assessment, there's 2 routes to go. You could make this instrument playable again, and I'd charge $75 to do that. And that would include a bridge. It'd be $125 if I was to make the bridge myself. If it was just a, like a Golden Gate or something, I would charge $75 to fix this. And charge them for the string setup. It needs a new nut. The nut is broken, so I like to use ebony for nuts. If it was a bone nut, it's $25. Ebony nuts are $15. And for this headstock, now if I was to do this, what I would suggest now, being like the more expensive, where I say like the over $100, is I would file this down nice and flat, and maybe put some retaining wood in there, and then paint it all black again and put these on there so they were flush, so there wasn't that, you could see light coming through there. That's no good. But as far as making this again, receiving of those nice friction tuners, that is never going to happen. Not in the life of this instrument, unfortunately. But I just want to show you this pot here on this thing is really cool. It's strange because it looked like it was accommodate like as many things as it could there. It's got these extra holes. I think that is actually holding this tin piece in place. But you have this weird like blued steel along with this really nice rolled brass. And it looks like the rolled brass makes up the tone ring. Now, they have one of these old highly carcinogenic Remo heads on here, and it's ill-fitting for the banjo itself. So we would put a skin head on here. And if they wanted the original head, again, like we're getting up into $200 now if I was to make a nice skin head for it. But just look at that. It's a very strange and mysterious instrument. Look at the peening. It's a bent and riveted, and it's actually really nice. But bent and riveted like that, it's just strange to me. Very heavy steel, and a lot of rust on there. But, we're going to clean this up. We'll do a few videos taking it apart and stuff. So, thanks for joining me. And, where are my glasses? Oh, yeah, this thing's dirty. So, we're going to get this taken apart. And also, Oh, look at that. Guy who thinks he knows there. Now that is a victim of the guy who thinks he knows, because that's doesn't know. Very bad. And you guys might not know it because you know me as a tenor man, but I can play a little 5 string too.